The Galaxy S25 series is here. Samsung launched these phones at the Galaxy Unpacked event earlier this week. If you happen to watch the live stream of that event, you probably heard the term AI about 1,000,000 times. And there's a good reason for that. The biggest reason is that these phones physically aren't that much different from previous Galaxy S phones. So, in order to help sell these devices, Samsung needs to rely on One UI 7 and Galaxy AI. So that might seem sad, but the good news is that a lot of these features are actually really cool. Before I jump into the specific features that I think are really neat in both Galaxy AI and One UI 7, I want to touch on one thing that's overarching with all of them, and that's the way you initiate them. With the Galaxy S25 series, you hold down the side key, or the power button, for a little bit of time, and then it launches a voice prompt. Now, normally this would be Bixby, but now it's Bixby and Google Gemini. So that might be confusing. It doesn't launch both things at the same time. Now the phone will intelligently know what you're asking for and then point you automatically in the direction of either Gemini or Bixby. Obviously, for a lot of those commands, it's going to be Google Gemini, but some of them might be Bixby. So I'm not going to go over which ones are which in this video, but what I want to point out is that Galaxy AI is an overarching term. It includes Gemini, it includes Bixby, and it could even include other things down the line. So don't be thinking about whether or not something is Bixby or Gemini, just be thinking it's all Galaxy AI. With that out of the way, let me jump into my favorite feature within One UI 7 and Galaxy AI, which is the AI-powered search function within the Photos app and Android settings. The way this works is that you can use natural language and figure out things about your phone or your photos without having to remember proper syntax. So if you're looking for a specific photo, normally you'd have to scroll through your entire photo library to find it. But now you can just ask Galaxy AI for a specific photo and it'll find it for you. You don't need to be super specific either. So, for example, you could say that I'm looking for a photo with a pool in it, and it'll find an image in your library that has a pool pictured. This also works for Android settings. So you could specifically say, I'm trying to find dark mode, and it'll pull up dark mode within Android settings so that you can change it. But you can even be a little more abstract here. So, for example, you could say, I wish the font size were bigger, and it'll bring you up all the font options within Android settings. Another cool feature on the Galaxy S25 series is the ability to have cross-app support within your Gemini queries. So this sounds complicated, but it's actually really easy when you think about this kind of example. For example, you could say, Gemini, I'm looking for vegan restaurants near the Warriors game. This is a complicated query as it needs to know when the Warriors game is, where the Warriors game is, and then find vegan restaurants around it. But since it's able to ping multiple apps to figure out all this information for you, it finds it with ease. Previously on Galaxy smartphones, you had something called Smart Select. Well, that's not there anymore. Now you have a new thing called AI Select because we're putting AI into everything. But even though this name is kind of dumb, it is a really cool feature. Basically, it knows what you're looking at on your phone's display so that when you pull it up, it changes in context depending on what's going on. So, as an example, if you're watching a video, it's going to give you video options. If you're looking at a photo, it's going to give you photo options. And if you're looking at text, it's going to give you text options. So it's really smart and figures out what you need before you've actually asked what you need, which I think is really useful. Before I get into the next thing, I do want to point out that we have a word from our sponsor, and I want to tell you about some really cool cases that are coming to the Galaxy S25 series.
Are you buying a Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra? Do you want a case that covers literally every aspect of the phone, including the rear camera? Well, check out the eye-blazing Armorbox. This ultra-tough two-piece full-body case is made of TPU and rigid polycarbonate, so it can handle all the drops, spills, and falls. Most notably though, it has a zinc alloy camera cover that also doubles as a kickstand. This is great for folks who want to keep that quad lens system pristine. There's also a built-in screen protector that fully covers the phone's frame, and don't worry, it's compatible with the phone's in-display fingerprint sensor. Other features include textured edges for a firm grip, raised bezels for added screen protection, precise cutouts for access to things like the S Pen, and a cover for keeping dust out of the USB-C port. For a limited time, our viewers can get 15% off the eye-blazing Unicorn Armorbox with the code you see on the screen and in this video's description. Act fast.
Another cool exclusive thing to the Galaxy S25 series is called Now Brief. This is a smart way of aggregating a whole bunch of different information into one nice, easy to read place. Generative AI will take all this information from various things that you do, such as the weather, sports scores, messages, your health stats, all sorts of different things from all sorts of different apps will all aggregate in this one place. And you'll be notified about this 3 times a day: morning, afternoon, and evening. You can turn this off if you don't want it, but this seems really useful and should keep you on top of what's going on in your day without having to open a bunch of apps to see all the information. And finally, another really cool feature within One UI 7 is Audio Eraser. This is a feature that's kind of borrowed from Google's Audio Magic Eraser, which does basically the same thing, but this is a brand new implementation of this idea that Samsung has developed on its own. If you've ever used Google's Audio Magic Eraser, you're going to be very familiar with what this does. It basically pulls different things either up or down within the audio track. So you have wind noise, you have nature, you have crowd noise, etc. And you can either bring those up or down to make the audio sound the way you want it to sound. This is like having a specialized audio engineer inside your smartphone doing everything you need to do to make sure that your audio clips sound as best as they can possibly sound. Okay, so those are my favorite One UI 7 features that are for now exclusive to the Galaxy S25 series. The key term there is for now. These features are probably all going to come to older Galaxy phones once they get One UI 7. And since a lot of these features are actually created by Google, there's a good chance that some of them, or maybe even a lot of them, will eventually come to other phones outside of the Galaxy ecosystem. Most likely Pixels, but maybe even just the general Android ecosystem. So in other words, if you really want one of these features, you don't need to buy one of these phones to get them. You can buy an older Galaxy phone, or you could just sit tight with the Galaxy phone you already have and you'll eventually get these features. This puts the Galaxy S25 series in a little bit of predicament. You're not going to buy this phone because of its new hardware, because there's really not much in there that's new, and you're going to get all the software features on older phones anyway. So it makes it really strange encouraging people to buy the Galaxy S25 knowing that it's not really necessary. This is a problem that Samsung's created for itself, and we're going to have to see how it pans out. But in the meantime, let me know what you think. I want to know which of the features I went over is your favorite, and are any of these features going to convince you to buy a Galaxy S25? If so, which one are you going to buy? Let me know down in the comments, and in the meantime, I will see you in the next video.